Allison and Tom are reoccurring characters in the Bendy series, and their origins start with Joey Drew. Joey Drew Studios was collapsing, making Joey bitter. He blamed everyone else for his mistakes. But most of all, he blamed his former business partner Henry, who had left the studio early after creating some of its original characters.
In his anger, Joey used an evil machine to create another world. A world made of paper and ink, where he'd torment his own version of Henry forevermore.
During this time, Joey met a woman named Allison Pendle, who saw good in Joey. Joey was inspired by Allison Pendle and gave Henry an angel of his own to always provide hope. Tom's origins are surrounded in mystery, but it's likely he was created based on Allison's boyfriend and future husband, Thomas Connor. Thomas is still alive during the events of Bendy and the Ink Machine, so it's clear that Tom isn't actually Thomas. Considering how Allison was based on Allison Pendle, it's likely that Tom was based on Thomas Connor. Thomas Connor and Tom have a very similar mean personality, so it's clear that Joey took some inspiration from Thomas. Allison said she met Tom when she was messing with ink, and he was suddenly there.
But you don't want to touch the ink for too long. It can claim you. Pull you back. That's how I met Tom. I was messing with things I shouldn't have been, and he was there.
It seems like ever since then, the two have been traveling together. Tom is missing an arm. It's unclear if he lost it or if he was created without one, but he has a replacement mechanical arm taken from the Bendy bot. In Bendy and the Ink Machine's variation of the cycle, Henry meets Allison and Tom at the end of Chapter 4, where Allison kills Alice. I made a video explaining Alice Angel's story if you want to check that out as well. Allison and Tom don't trust Henry, so they keep him locked up in their safe house. Tom thinks Henry is dangerous and treats him poorly, while Allison is more friendly and open to Henry. Allison tells Henry her name is Alice, however, I'll still be referring to her as Allison. Allison gives Henry the Sing tool, which is a device she created to reveal secret messages across the studio. Tom does something to provoke the Ink Demon, which leads him right to the safe house. I also made a video about the Ink Demon if you're interested in learning more about his story. Allison and Tom are unable to free Henry, and he's left for dead. Following hints from the secret messages in his cell, Henry finds the jet pipe and escapes. Henry sees Allison and Tom leaving, and using a barge, he manages to catch up with them, but the giant hand stops him from following them further. Henry takes his barge to the Lost Harbor, where he's attacked by Sammy Lawrence. Sammy nearly kills Henry, but Tom rescues him.
Well, I'm going to free you now. Free your head right off your shoulders. Sheep, sheep, sheep. It's time for sleep.
Tom finally trusts Henry and gives him a weapon, which comes in handy when the Lost Harbor's residents emerge. Henry, Allison, and Tom all work together to fight the Searchers and the Lost Ones. After the fight, they continue onwards, but when leading the way, Henry falls through a plank and is separated from Allison and Tom. Once Henry navigates his way to the film vault, Allison and Tom appear.
How did you get down here?
It pays to carry a rope. You should try it.
Henry tells them that the Ink Demon has something they need and they should go after him. Allison notes that the doorway leading to his lair is blocked.
But it won't be easy to open. I'll need 3 gears, a crowbar, some kind of counterbalance. Huh. Well, that works too. I guess.
As they make their way to the Ink Demon's lair, the Ink Demon himself appears, but he doesn't notice them. The group finds the Ink Demon's lair, but Allison and Tom can't go in the ink, so Henry goes in alone.
You're here for a reason, Henry. There's always a reason. Even when you can't understand it. It's time. Set us free.
Using the end reel, Henry manages to reset the cycle, and the events of Bendy and the Ink Machine happen all over again. After Bendy and the Ink Machine, Joey dies and his friend Nathan Arch buys the Bendy brand to continue Joey's legacy. Nathan's company, Archgate Pictures, also takes all the Bendy items from Joey's apartment, which includes the real ink machine that Joey used to create the cartoon cycle. Nathan's son Wilson notices the ink machine being delivered and investigates it. Using the ink machine, Wilson enters the cycle and takes it over with his creations known as the Keepers. Wilson's tampering with the cycle changes the story we know from Bendy and the Ink Machine. In this version of the cycle, it seems like Allison never killed Alice or met Henry, since Alice is still alive, meaning the cycle was altered sometime before that. Bendy and the Dark Revival follows Audrey, an animator at Archgate Pictures that Wilson brings into the cycle. At the start of the game, Audrey meets Allison, and Allison gives her some advice to survive. However, Allison says that Tom isn't fond of strangers, so she doesn't take Audrey with her. Shortly after this, Allison is trying to contact someone, likely Tom or Audrey, and she briefly talks to Audrey. Allison tells Audrey to find a gent pipe so she can break a lock. Later in Chapter 3, after Audrey defeats the King Widow, she contacts Allison for help, but she's distracted by Bendy before Allison can find her. In Chapter 4, Memory Joey tells Audrey about Allison's origins that I explained earlier. Later in Chapter 5, Audrey is kidnapped by Alice Angel. She nearly kills Audrey, but she's saved in a familiar way.
My face. You have my face. It's our face. Beautiful. Always were. Why does this feel so familiar?
It's worth mentioning that prior to this, Allison was leaving notes to Alice, trying to comfort and help her before it was too late. Unfortunately, Alice either didn't read these notes or couldn't let go of her pursuit of perfection, and Allison was forced to kill her to save Audrey. Tom also finally appears in Bendy in the Dark Revival, revealing a more roughed up design. Audrey now understands why Allison doesn't like being called Alice, and suggests a new name.
What do you have in mind?
How about Allison?
It's not bad. Okay, I'll try it out.
Audrey informs Allison that Wilson has a plan to defeat the Ink Demon. Allison reluctantly agrees, and she tells Audrey they'll gather up all their allies. Allison also takes the Tommy gun for future use. There's also a fun Easter egg here where you can pet Tom. At the end of the game, it's revealed that Wilson's plan to kill the Ink Demon involves harvesting Audrey's soul to create a new cartoon god. Audrey obviously doesn't like this plan and fights Wilson off, pushing him into the grinder. Wilson's soul is accepted and is used to create Ship Ahoy Dudley. Ship Ahoy Dudley nearly defeats Audrey, but the Ink Demon appears and kills him. With Audrey injured, she has no other choice but to join the Ink Demon. They merge together to form Beast Bendy. Memory Joey appears with the end reel. The Ink Demon kills him, but Audrey takes control of Beast Bendy and grabs the end reel so she can reset the cycle. Audrey goes on a rampage through Wilson's retreat, but is eventually cornered by the Lost Ones. Just in time, Allison comes to Audrey's rescue, and Tom appears shortly after.
Tom! Make us some trouble!
In a chaotic finale, all of Allison and Tom's reinforcements arrive and battle the Ink Demon's followers. During the fight, Sammy preaches about the Ink Demon's greatness, but Allison shoots him to death. Allison and Tom fight alongside their allies until Audrey plays the end reel, defeating the Ink Demon by resetting the cycle. After this, Audrey is sent home and takes control of the cycle. Inside the Illusion of Living book, we see a sketch of Allison with Betty, implying that in Audrey's version of the cycle, those two are allies. Allison and Tom would likely return in Bendy the Cage, since that's the story of how Audrey's allies came to her rescue. Allison and Tom will definitely be in Bendy 3. In the game's teaser, you can see Tom's hand and a bullet, possibly a reference to Allison since she uses the Tommy gun. For now, this is where Allison and Tom's story ends. I have more Bendy videos on my channel if you're a fan of the series. I also have Poppy Playtime and Five Nights at Freddy's content if you're interested in those series. If you want to support our channel and help fund future videos, please consider donating to our Ko-Fi. Thanks again for watching, and check out some of our other videos.